Welcome to another episode of Progress and Promise. It's here, fellow parents, the time we all have known is coming, summer break. And while we want our little darlings to have time to unplug and unwind after the school year, we can't let their brains turn completely to mush over break. Luckily, our area is home to a growing number of outlets that will help keep kids and their minds nimble over the summer. And while it's a big joke at my house that I periodically have to check to see if their brains have turned to mushy goo and started leaking out of their ears from too much TV, summer learning loss is a real thing and something that can impact a child's learning level once they do return to class in the fall. Quint
Yes.
is back with us in studio.
I earned my way back.
Executive producer Quint Studer.
I was in timeout, but I'm out. I'm back.
And we're so pleased.
Thank you.
I'm glad your behavior improved.
Well, it's a topic that interests me, being I was a classroom teacher for 10 years. And when I was a teacher, there wasn't the FCAT, there wasn't the testing, or I'm sure I wouldn't have done that well, really. But
none of us would have.
But we knew the kids would fall back in the summer. We just planned on it. So the first 2-3 weeks of the classroom was sort of catching them back up. Today, like you said, parents, grandparents, people don't have that luxury anymore, that a kid and a child really has to stay with it. And we're fortunate, as you said, to have so many options for children, not only to not fall backwards, but to go forward and to enjoy themselves while they're learning.
Because that's the most important thing. If we can make the learning seem like fun, then it's kind of sneaking it in there.
Absolutely.
They don't even know it's happening.
And you can have a lot of fun at the Flight Academy.
And that is why we are so lucky to have with us as our guest Karen Sindell, Business Development Director for the National Flight Academy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Very excited.
Karen, that is a super fancy title. What does that mean?
It means that other than astronauts and the Blue Angels, I have the coolest job in the world.
Wow.
It means that...
I throw Blue Wahoos in there, but okay.
All right, okay.
It means that at the National Flight Academy, it is my honor to find as many students as possible to come join us in our summer program. We have 108 openings every week, and this summer has been going along marvelously. Every Sunday, we get about 108 new kids. They stay with us on board overnight until Friday when they graduate in front of all their family and friends at the Blue Angel Atrium. And what they do with us, they do nowhere else in the world. We are the world's only landlocked aircraft carrier. They come aboard, it's math camp, but they don't know that. What they know is that they come aboard and they're put in squadrons, and their flight leaders are actually math and science teachers. They spend the week planning missions, flying in simulators, learning all about the theory of flight, doing humanitarian missions by taking water to a disabled cruise liner. So they spend their week doing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics for students who are in grades 7 through 12. They work together in squadrons, in teams. We do an enormous amount of workforce readiness, such as team building, leadership, strategic planning, chaos management, all done in a 102,000 square foot building that looks, sounds, and smells like an aircraft carrier. The only one in the world, and it's right in your backyard.
I've been there.
Yes, you have.
And I've been there, and I think what's really fascinating, which I think really aligns with what children are interested in, is the amount of computerization, the video. I mean, if you almost would think I'm playing with video games, but they actually are learning math and science, aren't they?
Oh, yes, they are. In fact, the technology in our building is, bar none, the finest in this community. We have on our second floor, we have what we call joint operations centers and joint intelligence centers. And if you think in terms of a room that is full of banks of computers and smart boards, in fact, we have smart boards that are turned to lay flat. We run Google Earth on them, and we have the only 3 in the world. These are our classrooms. But they don't feel like classrooms. There's no textbooks. It's a matter of learning how to use all this technology and apply different types of math techniques while planning missions.
Well, tell me, how did Pensacola get so lucky to be able to have a resource like this, not just for our kids, but you draw regionally?
Oh, we have currently, this is our 3rd summer, and we have currently served over 2,000 students from 40 states and 3 foreign countries. And we got this amazing project, this amazing venue, because 20 years ago, some community leaders such as Admiral Furlong, J.J. Coonan, Admiral Fetterman recognized that America was sliding backwards in its prestige as being able to produce students who did well in math and science. So 20 years ago, they had a vision for the National Flight Academy. They raised $45 million of private funds and built this it's so hard to describe it if you haven't seen it, because when you walk through that front door and you really begin to become immersed in the whole program, and you realize that it makes Disney look old.
Tell us about the curriculum, because when I went through there, they talked about working with science and math teachers from different school districts to make sure the curriculum was one that would be really up to date and align with where the child went back when they finished the program.
That's very important to us, and thank you for inquiring. Our education partner is the University of West Florida, and they have developed our entire curriculum based on core curriculum standards. So not only does our curriculum meet standards that are set by school districts, but it is taught by educators who are trained in our program. Being a school teacher does not mean you can come work for us. You have to understand the immersive process. What is it like to teach a classroom of 12 to 24 students who range in ages from 11 to 17 with no textbooks? How do you get the point across? How do you get them to understand the skill set that they need? Plus, through UWF, if a student who is going into 11th or 12th grade chooses to do a little extra work while they're on board with us, they can actually earn 1 full college credit in 6 days, which is amazing. But we're extremely proud of our curriculum because it is fun, it is high energy, but it is education.
Right.
And that's important, you know, particularly everything you hear in the education world these days is STEM this and STEM that, and that is science, technology, engineering, and math, which are all the disciplines that the Flight Academy is supposed to touch on.
We do, and we touch on it through, we teach it, we discuss it, we do it, we debrief it. So every 45 minutes to an hour, the groups of students are moving from a joint information center, which is a room full of computers where they're doing research and learning different skill sets, to a ready room, which is where they brief and talk about what the mission's going to be, and they come up with a plan as a team. And then they break apart, and half of them go to Hangar Bay to our 30 network simulators, which we are the only organization with that outside the DoD, the Department of Defense, or they go into mission control. And then we come back and debrief. So they learn by researching and doing it and debriefing it over and over. It's very hands-on, it's fully immersive, and it's another way of me telling you that these students don't see real TV for 6 days.
Well, that is outstanding. I'm all for that.
Darn.
Quint's out.
Darn.
That's it. He's done.
Let me ask you some more questions. I'm watching the show and I have a child or a grandchild, a nephew, or I'm an employer, and I'd like to say, wow, this would be great to offer my employees children's maybe reward and recognition. Tell us about the ages again.
Thank you. It's the students need to have completed 6th grade, but not graduated high school.
Okay.
Okay.
That's their only requirement.
Well, I know the other thing you do, though, you pay very careful attention to how you don't commingle and commingle with ages, because they stay overnight, don't they, sometimes?
They do, and students need to be registered a full 2 weeks before arrival, because we work with University of West Florida. We take that information and we put them into those squadrons, and the squadrons are gender blended, so they're boy and girl, but it's age appropriate. So my 11, 12, 13-year-olds are together. And then when we go to 3rd floor at night for them to go to sleep, there's hallways that are just boys, and then there's the hallways that are just girls.
I was real impressed with how much energy you put into making sure the appropriate age mingle, appropriate sex mingle, and so on. What about, again, I know you draw from all over the United States and foreign countries. I'm watching the show and I'd sort of say, well, I wouldn't mind getting my child in. How would I do that?
Oh, go to our website, nationalflightacademy.com. First of all, there's an amazing virtual tour. It's great for the students to watch. It's amazing for parents to see. Our registration is completely online. You look to see when you want little Timmy or Susie to come, and you fill out the paperwork online. If you want them to try and earn a scholarship, our scholarship protocol is also online. So we've made it extremely simple. Everything is through the website, or they go to the website, they look up my phone number or the phone number for the Flight Academy, call. We're pretty much always there.
Well, I think Karen, you remind me of a 24/7 human being.
We kind of are.
Yeah,
I
a
mean,
little
think
bit.
about it. We start on Sunday. We graduate them on Friday. On Saturday, that allows me to do corporate events where companies come in and do corporate offsites.
Yes.
Then we start again on Sunday.
Is there special programming for the summer particularly?
The summer is what we call our high lift season because students are out of school. So that's our deployment, the 6-day product. We'll do 12 full weeks. We did 2 weeks of spring break also. And we also offer a 3-day program called a cruise. That allows me to get students that are a little bit younger, 5th and 6th grade, and I can do that anytime outside of summer. And we do a lot of private schools, a lot of
nice.
academies, students from other communities where they are allowed to come during school. I can do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then we do 1-day adventures where we've done a lot of Boy Scout groups where they come in and spend the day and earn a merit badge.
So just like we get at the Blue Wahoos, people call for tours. If I'm watching this and I have a community group, I can do a 1-day event there, right?
Absolutely. We do everything from allowing you to have your meeting there. We can do breakfast, lunch, dinner, cocktail receptions. We can bring in guest speakers. We are full service, and we actually customize everything to meet the need of the client.
Fantastic.
Well, let's figure out how to get somebody there.
Let's do it. We have a little news to share,
Yes.
gang. Our generous executive producer and his wife, Quinn and Rishi, have a scholarship to the Flight Academy that they are going to offer.
Oh, thank you. That's phenomenal. Thank
But
you.
there's a catch.
There's a catch.
It's not a freebie.
Not a freebie.
Fully. You need to write the old-fashioned essay. I mean, you can type. You probably don't really have to write. But I need to have an essay about why your student should go to the Flight Academy.
Right.
What do you want to get out of it? What is it going to mean to you and your summer to have this great opportunity?
Oh, that's amazing.
So if you get it to Shannon, and she'll give you the how to do it. And why don't we do this to have some fun?
Okay.
We'll give first prize will be the week, and maybe second prize will be a 3-day cruise.
Oh, that would be
So we
wonderful.
can have
Great.
2 winners. And that way, if you're watching this and you say, gee, I'm really interested in this, but I just can't afford it right now,
Yeah.
we can offer that. And we know we always do something. So everybody that enters will get something. It won't be a
Oh, that's
prize at the
so
Flight
nice.
Academy, but we'll make sure everybody that takes time to write an essay gets some type of reward and recognition. But this, because we believe so much in first of all, you've done so much for this community even before the Flight Academy,
Thank
Karen.
you.
And we appreciate that you and the general and everybody are so gung-ho on this. Because it's one of those things that people all over the United States know, but maybe some people even in Pensacola weren't just completely knowledgeable on what's available here.
Well, a lot of people think that it's out of their reach. They think, oh, my kid doesn't have enough math skills, or we don't have enough money, or this is not something for people like us. And we remove all those barriers. I tell the students when they come on board, in fact, we don't call them students, they're student pilots or AXPs. We tell them, you're part of our team. We don't care about your background. What we know is that you're part of us. We're all going to work together as a team this week. And for the parents, we tell them that we remove those barriers that are the I can't, so I'm not smart enough,
I don't
it's
know
too
about-
hard, I don't like
Well, it's
math.
teamwork too.
It's all
So
done.
this could actually take a child that maybe hasn't been as engaged in school.
Right.
And I know in talking to Admiral Fetterman, one of his dreams was to take children that maybe weren't as engaged as you'd like them to be and get them back engaged in what they can be. So
Oh, absolutely.
And Jack Fetterman used to always talk, you know, Jack Fetterman never gave up on anybody.
No, he didn't. And in fact, I'll do a super brief story. We had a student come through last year, and at the end of the summer, you know, he did really well. And he came back to us and told us a few months ago how it changed his life, that he was not going to finish school, and now he is, and we know we
Perfect.
make a difference.
That's
Makes it worth
perfect.
it.
And we want someone out there to be able to have the chance. So if you email me, Shannon at studercdg.com with your essays, you can have the chance to get on board the Flight Academy too. Stick around and we'll be right back. Welcome back. As the Flight Academy shows, science is fun, but my next guest knows it can be messy too. Megan Pratt is director of the Mess Hall. She founded the Hands-On Science Museum as a way to boost scientific literacy among our school children, which is something we desperately need. When the state added science to the FCAT, scores locally were absolutely nothing to brag about. Back in 2006, 31% of our fifth graders scored proficient in science. The figure was 55% in Santa Rosa County. The data is trending up now. Last year, 59% of Escambia's fifth graders and 62% of Santa Rosa's earned a passing mark in the science FCAT. No one wants to feel like they're at school all the time, which is the brilliance of the mess hall, because it is super fun and you're learning. But you're so sneaky, Megan. You're so sneaky with your mess kits.
Sneaky.
You are. No one, they don't even realize it. They think they're having fun making parachute men into a pneumatic tube, but that's not really what's happening.
No, well, I think the important part of what the mess hall does is it encourages learning outside of school. That's one of the things that's a strength of America, is our informal learning, our PBS, where we are right now, things like that, that really encourage people to continue learning. And it doesn't have to be what the teacher tells you to learn, it's what you're interested in. And that's what we really encourage. We don't say, you must learn this. It's, hey, I'm curious about this. I want to try this. What happens if I? Because that's really what curious people do. And curiosity drives everything.
Absolutely. And you have some, I've seen you suck adults in. I've seen it. Not that I'm saying.
I have made a straw thing parachute that when you put it up, it goes up the tube and came down.
So have I. I've done that with my colleague Reggie Dogan, and I had a great time at open house at the mess hall doing that.
First of all, Megan, thank you. You know, I know I speak on behalf of many, many people, and I know this, you know, sometimes when something happens, some people might think it just happened real quick, but I mean, this was something you were working on for years in small doses before you opened it up in the summer with the mess hall. So thank you for your persistence to do it and your caring about the children. So thank you. I also love the fact that I was talking to a fella yesterday, and his son struggles at times. But the place he doesn't struggle is the mess hall. Right. Because in school, he compares himself to other kids. He feels like he fails a little bit. But when he gets in the mess hall, he's having success. And the father shared with me how vital that is for his child, not only to learn, but to gain a little bit of, or a lot of, self-confidence. So tell us about the learning that happens.
Sure,
there.
and you know, they always say in science museums, no one ever gets an F in museum. Mm-hmm. You know, and really it is the way we approach it. We're not trying to teach you science facts. We're trying to teach you science thinking. And it applies in all cases. Everything you do, you think scientifically, analytically. Whether you become a lawyer or a poet or an engineer, it's those kind of thoughts. But it's really, we help you get the tools, and then we say, what do you want to try? Like the wind tubes. There are no instructions. There's no, you have to do it this way. And it's actually funny, though, you mentioned the adults who learn things as well, but a lot of times the adults will come up and they're like, so show me how I'm supposed to do this.
Right.
But there is no
there is no how, you know. So usually we'll say, okay, we'll grab a tissue, we'll put it in. It went up. Now can you change it? What do you want to try? So,
well, let me ask questions, because for people that aren't familiar with the mess hall, the hours, the location, the cost, the ages.
Right. Okay, so the mess hall is located downtown, just north of the interstate on-ramp from Chase Street. We're open, we're going to start our summer hours next week. We'll be open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 5, and Sundays, 1 to 5.
Wow, Sundays.
Yeah.
Sunday hours, nice.
Actually, last summer we had some people who would go out for brunch, you know, and grown-ups would go out for their brunch with some mimosas, and then they'd come over and they'd have a good time.
Absolutely.
But then admission is $8 a person, $7 for military, active duty, and that's $8 a person from everyone 3 years old and up.
Right.
And the ages, that's our age-old question.
Yeah. What's the best?
You know, we remind people that it's really not great for under 3, because we have choking hazards and other dangerous things out. When we give you the tools, they're, you know, things that might injure somebody. But really we target elementary and middle school in terms of where they are in their learning.
Right.
But it's great for 3-year-olds. It's great for adults.
Yeah, I had a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old, and bothered me because they getting in the way of my working with all this stuff. But
As soon as you get them out of the way.
well, I thought was real interesting. I wasn't the only grandparent in that room. I
yeah.
bet you 50% of the children in there were with a grandparent or an uncle or an aunt or a godmother. So
Yeah,
you see a lot of that, don't
Yeah,
you?
we see actually a lot of our visitors are tourists or in groups of
Yeah, I
the
was with
tourists.
some people from out of town.
When your grandkids come to visit, you bring them to the mess hall, or when you're visiting in town, so that we do see a lot of mixed groups. And it's also an interesting experience because, particularly with the mess kits, it gives you an opportunity to work together.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes.
that's something that most other museum experiences, the one kid will run ahead, do the thing, the next kid will do it, the dad will go up, and then mom's carrying the coats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everybody's moved on.
That's pretty much how it works, by the way.
Well, and you can
Pack
hop
mule.
around.
Yeah.
It's not one of these things where you say, no, you have to finish that. When I was in there, you go a little bit here, then they went over where they're sort of putting weights on things, then the thing they were spinning things, then the water coming down the sand,
sure.
then the things you're trying to untangle, which I think are impossible. But and I'm saying it was good because again there wasn't such structure that the child didn't enjoy themselves. They could move around.
Yeah, and the space is a good size. If folks for folks who have not been there, it's a roomy enough that everybody in your group can kind of do their thing, but you can keep an eye on where everyone
You
is
don't
and
lose
no one's
your kids.
which
Yeah.
is very important.
Yeah,
very
yeah.
important.
Yeah.
Well, you have some special summer things. I know summer camps.
Right. Yeah, we have summer camps all summer, half-day, week-long camps for elementary and middle school, lots of different themes. Next week we start with Science of Seuss, where they're going to do fun things like they're going to read the Lorax, and they're going to make spinning things where the Lorax will go zump out of the stump, and just different activities related to science. But
Do you have a website then I
We
can
do,
go to?
yeah. So it's www.pensacolamesshall.org. And that's got all the information about visiting and the camps.
And I know that you and I have talked some about expanding the mess hall, not necessarily physically, but I know that one of the things that you want to try to do is to make part of the mess hall mobile so that more kids can have access to it.
Yeah, and we have field trips all year. Today was our very last one of the school year, but yeah, but a lot of our schools can't afford the buses to come. And we only have so much room. We can only accommodate so many kids. So we turned a lot of groups away this year. So if we can get out there, there's possibility of family science nights at schools and other things.
That's great.
That would be an exciting way to reach people.
That's something. You started this 2-3 years ago.
2 years
2 years ago, and it's outpaced certainly. I think what anybody thought when they heard Hands-On Science Museum. What in the world?
No, as we wrap, again, thank you. This is somebody that took an idea and actually brought it to reality. So on behalf of so many people, Megan, thank you for your impact on this community and the children.
Well, thanks for your support.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know that you also, as a scientist, are very interested in the data and what people learn from the museum so that you can always improve it. You have some new permanent exhibits.
Yes.
So if anyone hasn't been down there, this is an awesome time of year for you to go and check out the facility. It's down off Tarragona near the interstate on-ramp. And check it out and stick with us. We'll be right back. Summer break isn't what it used to be. My summer break enrichment was a trip to Mineral Beach, the public pool about 30 minutes away, where the concrete always seemed to be flaking off and the snack bar offered the kind of eats that only taste good, eaten on an old picnic table in the baking sun. While there's plenty of time for trips to the Cecil Hunter or Roger Scott pools or a baseball game or a free summer concert in the park, our children are going to have to do more than veg out on their break. As standards rise, we expect more from our kids academically than we probably ever have, and at a younger age, which means they can't afford to let a whole summer go by without cracking a book or attending some kind of structured activity. Summer learning loss is a real thing, one that teachers note every August, and that's why programs like the Flight Academy and the Mess Hall are important. Just as the UWF summer camps that offer students things such as marine science studies and Mythbusters styled week-long sessions, or the Pensacola State College Kids College and the Imagination Station at the Community Maritime Park, a free early education resource, and the Junior Ranger Camp sponsored by the Gulf Islands National Seashore. All of those camps focus on science and math-related skills. The world is increasingly governed by numbers. Numeric and scientific literacy are critical components in building a workforce that has traditionally lagged in educational attainment. Escambia County is one of those places where only 64% of our high school students graduate. Building resources in the community that not only embrace the importance of thinking harder, Homer, but also help make that fun and accessible for people of all ages makes Pensacola more marketable and more attractive to business. They make Pensacola more fun and smarter too. The kind of industries we want to attract, those based on intellectual capital that bear a high wage and demand a better educated workforce, are built on skilled labor. When the FCAT was revamped for the 2011 school year, 49% of Escambia's third graders were proficient in math. Based on scores released in late May, 49% of our county's third graders are still proficient in math. In 4 testing years, the needle hasn't moved that much, and we need it to. We need all the summer camps and after-school programs that make numbers less threatening and understandable that we can find. We need a community that embraces things like the Flight Academy and the mess hall, because giving those things prominence shows that we value them, that we think learning matters, not just during the school year, but all year long. That's all for this time. Please check us out online at progresspromise.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at OurProgressNow. Thanks for watching.
Imagine a place in Pensacola where math, the language of the universe, is accessible to kids, where engineering is used to build towers and tinker with machines, and where science is applied through actual hands-on experimentation. This place has all sorts of other fun stuff that comes alive and gets brains working. It's called the Pensacola Mess Hall, and it's all hands-on science. Visit us online or call 1-877-YES-MESS.
People with autism experience the world a little differently. Things seem louder, brighter, faster. It can be overwhelming. You might see them rocking or flapping their hands to relieve stress. It's no big deal, just stimming. And if they look away or seem distracted during a conversation, they're not ignoring you. Maybe eye contact just isn't their thing, or they need a little longer to gather their thoughts. Learn more about autism. It's a different kind of different. Visit Autism Pensacola.